The quiet rhythm of Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, shattered on a day that will forever be etched into its history. A community known for its serene landscapes and tight-knit bonds suddenly found itself at the epicenter of a crisis, as an active shooter incident unfolded at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. The initial reports were fragmented, but the core truth was stark. Violence had breached the sanctuary of learning, leaving a trail of shock and fear for a town where the loudest sounds are typically the wind through the mountains or the distant hum of industry. The sudden eruption of gunfire was an unthinkable intrusion. This wasn't just an isolated event. It was a direct assault on the innocence and security of a place where generations have grown up together, where every face is familiar. The immediate stakes were immense: the safety of students and staff, the integrity of a community's peace, and the sudden, terrifying realization that such a tragedy could strike anywhere, even here. The reverberations of that day continue to echo, forcing a collective reckoning with vulnerability and resilience. As the first alarms blared, the town plunged into a state of urgent chaos. Emergency services converged on Tumbler Ridge Secondary, transforming the familiar school grounds into a scene of intense police activity. Students and teachers, caught in the terrifying grip of the moment, initiated lockdown protocols, their training suddenly becoming a desperate reality. The names Jesse Van Rootselaar and Jesse Strang emerged in the early frantic dispatches linked to the unfolding horror. Details were scarce, but the gravity of the situation was undeniable. Parents, receiving fragmented messages and witnessing the escalating police presence, rushed towards the school, their hearts gripped by a primal fear for their children. The air was thick with uncertainty, each passing minute stretching into an eternity as the community grappled with the unthinkable. This was not a distant news report. It was happening in their backyard, to their children, to their friends. The initial confusion quickly gave way to a chilling understanding of the immediate danger, as the full scope of the active threat began to materialize. The immediate aftermath brought a wave of profound sorrow and urgent action. Injured individuals were quickly attended to, their conditions ranging in severity, each a stark reminder of the violence that had transpired. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, alongside other emergency responders, worked with precision and urgency, securing the school and beginning the painstaking process of investigation. The community, initially paralyzed by shock, began to mobilize, offering support and comfort wherever possible. Evacuation centers were established, providing a safe haven for students and staff, and a place for anxious families to reunite. Yet, even amidst the organized response, an undercurrent of disbelief persisted. How could such an event occur in Tumbler Ridge? This question, unspoken but palpable, hung heavy in the air, as residents struggled to reconcile the idyllic image of their town with the harsh reality of the violence. The human cost was already evident, not just in physical injuries, but in the visible trauma etched onto the faces of those who had endured the ordeal. As the initial crisis subsided, the focus shifted to the meticulous work of the investigation. Law enforcement began to piece together the sequence of events, examining evidence and interviewing witnesses to understand the full scope of what transpired. The identities of those involved, particularly the suspect, Jesse Van Rootselaar, and the victim, Jesse Strang, became central to the inquiry. Questions about motive, access to weapons, and any potential warning signs were paramount. For the families directly affected, the days that followed were a blur of grief, confusion, and the daunting task of navigating unimaginable loss. The wider community grappled with collective trauma as counselors and support services were brought in to help process the emotional fallout. This wasn't merely a criminal investigation. It was an attempt to understand the rupture in the community's fabric, to find answers that might prevent future tragedies, and to begin the long, arduous journey of healing for everyone touched by the violence. The events at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace, even in the most secluded corners of the world. The community, though deeply wounded, has shown remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. The long-term implications extend beyond the immediate aftermath, prompting crucial conversations about school safety protocols, mental health support for youth, and the underlying factors that can lead to such devastating acts. While the physical wounds may eventually heal, the emotional scars will undoubtedly remain, shaping the collective memory of Tumbler Ridge for years to come. The path to recovery is complex, involving ongoing support for victims and their families, community dialogue, and a renewed commitment to fostering an environment of safety and understanding. This tragedy underscores the universal need for vigilance and compassion, urging us all to consider how we can better protect our communities and nurture the well-being of every individual within them. What lessons can we draw from Tumbler Ridge, and how can we apply them to safeguard our own communities?